A very good morning, Team Zimbabwe. Mamukase. So I'm working to upgrade some of the things on our platform so that we improve by end of October. We need to have an improved studio and everything else. So we need to reflect, is there a possibility of Zimbabwe changing its name from being Zimbabwe to Mutapa or Mutapa Kingdom? So we need to explore on this and actually see if there is that possibility. So recently, we have seen President Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa changing the sovereign state fund, sovereign wealth fund to Mutapa fund. It's now called Mutapa Investment Fund, and this remain a sovereign fund, and there are no restrictions in terms of movement of monies from that. So there is a very interesting article on Newswire which we need to take a look on and deal with this morning. It's a very important article which can guide us and give us direction when dealing with this matter. So okay, let me put it right on the screen. It's here. So there is a new vehicle called Mutapa Investment Fund, and this investment fund is now taken over the control of all parastatals, or the majority of the parastatals. And we need to take a look onto these parastatals before we go any further. They are listed here. We have Default Mine. It's now under control of that Mutapa investment fund. We have Zupco, we have Kuvimba. Mind you, Kuvimba is now the biggest mining venture in the nation of Zimbabwe at this moment in time. It's now the biggest. Then we have Silo Investments in a GMB, which is part of GMB. We have National Oil Company, and National Oil Company is the company which deals with Zimbabwe's oil reserves. So every reserve of oil is under that company called NOIC, and it's very important for us to know that. Then we have CSC, Cold Storage Commission, is no longer working at this moment in time. We have Petro Trade, we have POSB, we have Net1, we have National Railways of Zimbabwe, we have Tel1, we have ADA, we have Zimbabwe Power Company, PowerTel, Allied Timbers, Telecel, Air Zimbabwe, Industrial Development Corporation, COTCO, AFC Limited, Wange Colliery. All these companies, they've been put under one vehicle called the Mutapa Investment Fund. So they are now being controlled from one angle. In the past, you used to see Tel1, and other communication companies which are owned by the government. They were controlled by a particular ministry. Then if you go to those in transport, they are controlled in that ministry. In mining, they are controlled in that ministry. But they've been put together right now to one vehicle known as Mutapa. So the question is, if this Mutapa Investment Fund emerges victorious in terms of funding these companies and making them viable, are we going to have a possibility of Zimbabwe government considering having a new name? Several times we've heard President Mnangagwa addressing rallies and addressing people. He has mentioned the name of Mutapa so many times, and he is much interested in that name. And for him to change this sovereign wealth fund in Zimbabwe to be Mutapa Investment Fund, it means a lot. It means a lot. It means where we are going in the future, there is a great possibility of us having the name of this country being changed. But the question is, that going to be viable? How can a name be changed? Those are now legal issues, which I believe that for the country's name to be changed, you will need a lot of support from parliament and from other quarters. especially, I believe that there may be need to have a referendum for that to happen. So it will be a very, very, very huge task for him to be able to do so. But he's under fire right now because when he changed this sovereign wealth fund to Mutapa, he didn't use parliament. He didn't use any other thing. He used his presidential powers to make these changes. And using those presidential powers, he has managed to put all companies under one vehicle, all companies under his control, which means all these companies, they can now be controlled by one person, which means with the son, David Mnangagwa, within the finance ministry, they are going to be having access to these companies directly. These companies can be managed directly from the president's portfolio through his son and through Mthuli as well. So my question to Zimbabwe is, does this change of this portfolio, does this change affect everything else? Yes, it affects everything, because remember, for these companies to be funded, they were funded through the ministries or the parent ministries. But right now, when they're under Mutapa investment fund, what it means is they can make payments abroad without any problem. They can receive payments from abroad without any problem. So when it comes to the movement of monies, it's now an added advantage in terms of these companies. They can now have capital inflow and outflow without any restrictions, because this sovereign fund does not have any restriction world over, which means it can make payments anywhere, it can receive payments from anywhere. So it now has to be an issue where those in authority, they use it wisely, and they minimize corruption, they minimize unnecessary movement of funds. So it's a very interesting thing which is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. President Mnangagwa named the state sovereign fund Mutapa, which means it's possible that one day you will hear of him actually contemplating on changing the name of this great country to Mutapa Kingdom or Mutapa State. I do not know, guys, what you think, but this is what I have observed. This is what I think. And from this article, which is on Newswire, which talks about these parastatals, it's a very interesting story, because remember, once he does have control of all state parastatals, what it means is wealth will be in his direct control, and that will be something which will be owned directly by the nation. So the question will be, can we continue to have Mutapa investment fund without Mutapa Kingdom? I don't know, guys, what you think. Let us talk in the comment section. In my view, I believe that there is a great possibility that in the near future you will hear about the president advocating for the change of the name of this country to become Mutapa Kingdom. So that is another kind of madness, to change the name of the country. This is Omid. Okay, we do not know Omid, because we have seen the change of the state sovereign fund already. It has been changed to Mutapa investment fund, and all state-owned companies are now under that vehicle with immediate effect. So what it means is there is a greater possibility, in my view, that things might change. We might see proposals coming, proposing to have that name of change. So we do not know, Team Zimbabwe. This is still speculation, and we are going to look forward and see how things are going to turn. So remember that you have to subscribe, you have to like, you have to comment, and also you have to share. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for the support.